Well, welcome everybody to Coastal Business Supplies. Today is going to be our very first Crafts with Kids. I'm Meredith, and we got Jamie here.
Hi all.
And we're going to go over some fun kids crafts. And today's craft, we're going to be talking about our Artesprix markers.
So our Artesprix markers, they do come in 10 different colors. We also have additional packs that we'll get into later in the webinar. These are perfect for kids or adults, perfect for, camp groups, birthday parties, anything that you kind of think of where kids are involved, coloring's involved. With these do feature on this particular set, a 1.4 millimeter nib. It has a vented cap, which is perfect just in case, a kid accidentally swallows. Has a vented cap. Current colors are yellow, magenta, orange, red, light blue, green, dark blue, purple, brown, and black on this particular set that we're working with. When working with these, it is best to store them tip down, and then when you go to use them, or I suppose it's best to store them on their fronts, and then when we use them, store them tip down so it kind of recharges that ink tip, so you're ready to start coloring. So let's go ahead and get into today's craft.
Okay, excuse me. What you guys are going to need for this is a set of the Artesprix markers, regular copy paper, not sublimation paper. That's very important because the sublimation paper tends to dry out the tips of your markers. Blank substrates, whatever you want to transfer on, a press or an iron, and thermal tape is always great to hold that in your picture in place, and then silicone sheets to protect your press from the ink.
And then what you can also use is a sublimation printer. You can use it with regular copy paper. You're still not going to want to use your standard sublimation paper, so definitely use regular copy paper in the printer. And then you can use a design program to print. So, Photoshop, or if you have Sawgrass, of course, use Creative Studio to print on that coloring page, or you can actually use a coloring page.
Just doesn't transfer over the black. The cool thing with using your actual printer is it will transfer over that black ink, so you will have that outline when you color. All right, let's show a video of actually coloring. Hold on one sec. We'll start this out here. This is my 14-year-old creating her artist street. We've got some fun new colors that we're going to talk about at the end of this webinar. And here she is coloring a chapstick holder, actually.
So now we're going to talk about kids at work. So we have some pictures here. These are my kids at work coloring away. So I have an older one and then a younger one. So, definitely different ages in there. Definitely supervised. With little kids, again, that tip is created for little kids just in case they were to swallow this, but so definitely supervised. And then I did coloring pages, so I printed off of the Sawgrass, just again, black outline, so they knew where to color. As you can see on some of those pictures, one of my little ones just went a little crazy with the marker, while my other one kind of stayed within the lines. So it's definitely fun for all ages, of course.
All right. Let's get to showing how we press some of these. The first one we're going to show with an iron.
So when working with an iron, I just use my standard home iron that I had here available. You can use a craft iron. I think they sell on Amazon for maybe $20 or around that range. It doesn't have holes, so it's a little bit easier, especially when working with a bigger space, because sometimes the holes can actually, hurt the image more than help it. But I use an iron. I just use very firm pressure when pressing, and I use the hottest setting, which was the linen setting on mine. And I just still pressed for about 45 seconds on this. And I moved it around a little bit, as you saw, but pretty much staying within the parameters of the item I pressed at a firm pressure.
All right, let's show now our socks.
So when working with the socks, that was actually really fun. My youngest had an idea to draw me a sock for Mother's Day, so he kind of started the design work. Kind of scribbled a little bit of black in there, and then I actually helped finish it up with a little bit of color. So that was really fun. So this, again, is perfect for, groups, birthday parties and things of that nature, but also, Mother's Day and Father's Day is coming up. So it's really good for that as well. So I had a really fun time with the socks.
I cannot wait to see you wear those socks.
Right?
All right, next I'm going to show the hardboard coasters.
And then with all blanks that I did, I only had one that I had to remove the protective film on. So always, double check for that protective film that could be on your substrate. Definitely remove that, especially, since you're doing a little bit of artwork, you don't want that to be ruined by a film being kept on.
All right, well, Jamie had the benefit of little kids. I had big kids to work with. So I have my 14-year-old here creating her artwork, and of course my mom, and I think she probably enjoyed it just as much as my 14-year-old. I'm going to go ahead and show a video. Because my daughter's older, I went ahead and let her press her own artwork. So let me go ahead and get that going. And here she pressed one of our phone rings. She, of course, has a cell phone, so she wanted to personalize it, and she created her own artwork. Now, she did do lettering on here. So if you are going to do lettering, a great tip is to write it on the back side of the paper with a ballpoint pen. So when you create it on the other side with the markers, you can just trace that lettering and it'll automatically reverse it. And then that way, your letters are going to be right. Always good to let it cool before you assemble your pieces as well. All right, let's move on. These are all of our finished products. Of course, the dog had to get in there and give a big smile as well. And my mom, of course, she was really proud of her mouse pad. She's actually using it right now. And we've got Jamie's kids stuff as well. Jamie, want to add anything?
Yep, I'm going to actually add a few things here just to talk a little bit more about the markers. Another thing that you can do is you can actually use your marker in your Cameo or your Brother in the tip, the blade holder. Just set your marker in there and actually send your job, and it will do an outline on its own. So it can do, obviously, different colors. You can, send different jobs at different times, and your layers basically, and then press that way. Also, with most of these blanks, usually press about the same as all substrates that you see online. So when looking at the online information that we give, usually, we'll say 385 or 400 in the seconds in the pressure. So usually still want to keep that the same, definitely. And then again, you can use, as you saw it, a home iron, or you can use, your standard craft or commercial heat press for sublimating. We use two different, processes there. Or you can use an oven. Again, it's best to follow what you usually use in your oven, because every oven's a bit different. So definitely use those instructions as well. We're working with that. These are also washable. Follow all washing instructions that you normally would with your polyester material. When you do your wash, or if you have a koozie, like I did, and it gets dirty, again, definitely you can throw that in the wash just to wash it up a bit. And then, just pointing over the copy paper. It's best to use copy paper if you do use your standard sublimation paper. The clay in the paper can actually dry the marker tip out. So to get the most out of your markers, again, definitely best to use that copy paper when working with these. Anything else you want to add in there, Meredith?
Yeah, actually, my daughter's in 8th grade, and she does take an art class in school. And being that we're on digital learning right now, this was a great way to incorporate some of her projects and actually be graded on them. So it was a great way to, spend the afternoon. She literally worked on this for a couple hours. My mom too, and we had a good time doing it. So it's a really fun family craft to do.
So now we're going to open up for question and answers. We're going to be here to answer any questions that you may have. So those are going to come in the chat feature that is on this platform that will get taken care of today. And then again, just a review, of everything. Meredith and I went over Artesprix Markers, the primary pack that is available, as well as the additional 4 packs that are available. And as you saw, we used a few different processes here. You can freehand draw. You can use your printer to print out your template, which is awesome. And or you can use your cutter as well.
And it's just fun to be able to sit down and do something and create something with your kids that they're proud of. The magnets would be great, put them up on your fridge, and just something that they take a lot of pride in.
They do, yeah. Yeah. Really awesome.
Okay, Pam just asked, did you say to use copy paper so that the black lines don't transfer to the blank? No, actually, if you run the blank paper through your Sawgrass printer, it will actually transfer over that black ink. It's not recommended to do if you're, just doing normal printing on your sublimation, because it's not going to give you vibrant colors. But when you're doing color pages with the markers, it's a perfect alternative. Do you want to add anything to that, James?
You kind of covered it, but I mean, you're right. So, if you use Creative Studio, bringing your when I did it, just go an overview here. I went to Google. I just typed in, I did a fire truck. So I typed in fire truck color pages. I brought that into my design program, and then I printed it. And then, I obviously chose black, so it printed all the black. But again, I switched out my sublimation paper for copy paper. So when the print came out, it was my fire truck all in black and then ready to be colored. And I love using the copy paper as a template, just because I have younger kids, so they kind of like to stay in those lines.
Gina just asked, can you draw on the sublimation blanks without? I'm assuming without the copy paper. You'll want to do it on the actual copy paper and then transfer it onto your blanks. I wouldn't draw directly onto it because it is a wet ink, so it'll show like a watery mark. So I would definitely do it on the paper and then transfer it over with heat.
You got it. And then there was another one. When we get back to normal retailing, how do you organize a gathering by age? Adults only. So similar to, all the group parties that are out there, I would say, at least, kind of sending, your invite, either doing it at your house or maybe like a local, like coffee shop or something of that nature. And then, taking it to, or kind of just setting up something of that nature. Anything you want to add on in there, Meredith?
I mean, it'd be great to, pull together some age-appropriate birthday parties and those kinds of things. Just to get those groups of kids together or groups of adults together, maybe like a wine and sip type of a thing. You could, bring out the markers and get very creative. Judy also asked if it works well with the detailed mandalas. Being that it is a chisel tip, you can definitely get those details by using the finer point of the chisel. So yes, you can absolutely do that. Anything else?
Tammy asked if this will be available to access later. Yes, it will. Oh, actually, Matthew, I see that you answered. But yes, it will. For any additional questions that come in on that.
All right. Well, this was fun.
This was very fun. And if you still have additional questions, we are of course available via phone. You can reach Meredith and I at 1-800-562-7760, and then we are actually at option 3. Or you can send us an email to support@coastalbusiness.com, and we will be more than happy to answer your question there. Or if you want to send us your artwork, we always love seeing the finished product from our users. So always send us anything you have. Highlight of my day, I just love to see finished products from our customers.
Okay. Tammy just asked if you can use the marker drawings more than once. You can. Just keep in mind that each additional time that you do it, it's going to get lighter and lighter. If you have a particularly awesome piece of artwork that you would like to, recreate a couple times, what we have found is if you just kind of go back over it with the markers again, you can get, a pretty good press out of it. Well, perfect. I think we've answered all the questions.
I think we did as well. So again, thank you all for tuning in. And we do have another webinar coming up on Friday going over heat transfer paper. So we hope that you will join us on that one as well.
All right. We'll see you guys later then. Thanks.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.